Children, today we are going to start a lesson that is tides. Okay, so now before starting this chapter, children, I would like to recall what we have learned in second chapter. So in the second chapter, children, we have learned about the phases of the moon, about motion of the moon, orbital and axial motion of the moon. Then we studied about solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, how are they formed, how the sun, moon and earth, they are interlinked to each other. We have learned their positions. So children, now you must be wondering why teacher is telling us about second chapter. Children, this concept is related to our third chapter. So everyone, we are going to start our third chapter now. Children, I am going to share my screen with you. The PPT is in front of you, children. This is number 3, that is tides. Now, children, let's start this chapter. In this chapter, you can see that in the first slide, you can see there are two pictures. Okay, in this first slide, there are two pictures, children. Observe these two pictures carefully. Observe these two pictures carefully, children. Now, I am going to ask you a question regarding it. Do the above photographs show the same place or different places? Do the above photographs show the same place or different places? Yes, they are same places. Now, what is the difference we can observe in these pictures? We can see that in the first picture, children, the level of sea water is high. Okay, there is a rise in water, whereas here in the second picture, we can see that there is less water. Okay, there is a fall in water. Now, children, why does this occur? This is a natural event, right? So this rise in level of water is called as, in simple language, we can say this tides. Okay, the reason behind is the occurrence of tides. So if we stay near the coast for some time, we realize that the sea water is sometimes very close to the coast, while other times it is far away from the coast. Yes, children, we observe such changes, right? So what we see, when we are near the coast for some time, we observe that the sea water is sometimes very close to the coast, while the other times it is far away from the coast. So such movements of sea waters are called as tides. They are called as what? They are called as tides, children. So now, moving ahead, high and low tides are the natural phenomena. Okay, the rise of seawater, the rise and fall. Okay, these are what? They are the natural phenomena. So now, children, tides are movements of seawater occurring daily and regularly. Yes, this thing actually takes place daily and regularly. The level of seawater changes after a specific period of time. The level of seawater changes after a specific period of time, children. Yes, this period, it's not like whenever the water will rise and it will fall. No, it is for a specific period of time. So now we are going to study what is that specific period and how it takes place, how the tides occur in detail. We are going to study. So after every 12 hours and 25 minutes, a cycle of high tide and low tide gets completed. See, children, yes, after 12 hours and 25 minutes. So for example, if there is a high tide at 9 a.m. or if there is a high tide at 8 a.m. in the morning, so the next cycle will take place at 12 hours and 25 minutes. This regularly occurring event appears to be quite simple and natural. Yes, when we observe, when we are standing near the sea coast and all, we just see that we observe that the water is coming close to us and sometimes it is far away from us. When we are observing, we feel that it is quite simple and natural. It is directly related to the sun, the moon, and the earth. Like I told you, children, yes, the second chapter is related to this third chapter. Whatever we have learned in second chapter, it is now being. So the sun, the moon, and the earth, they are actually directly related to it, and also with gravitational and centrifugal forces that interact between them. Now, children, how these two forces are responsible for the occurrence of tide, we are going to study with the help of few examples. Now, children, in the first, before studying the example, I would like to give you about. I would like to give the definition of gravitational force and centrifugal force. Okay, so I hope you all must be carrying a notebook with you. If you want, you can note down the definitions of it. So, children, since our lower class, we have studied about gravitational force. Force is a force that attracts any two objects with mass. Okay, this is the our gravitational force is the one, is the force that attracts any two objects. It attracts any with mass. So we call the gravitational force attractive because it always tries to pull masses together. Yes, because of the existence of this gravitational force, we are not flying in the space, right, children? We whenever we jump, okay, even in science also we have studied last year. If we jump, okay, we fall on the surface of the earth, okay, we fall on the ground. So the reason behind this is that the gravitational force is acting on the body. It pulls us, okay, it pulls the masses together. It never pushes them apart, okay. This gravitational force will never push you apart, okay. It always pull you near towards it. Now, what is centrifugal force? It is opposite of gravitational force, children. Our gravitational force, what it does, it pulls the masses together, okay. But this centrifugal force pushes it, okay. It pushes the object, pushes the mass away from the center. So uh, this centrifugal force appears to act on a body that is moving in a circular path, which is directed away from the center. Like I told you, it pushes away from the center around which the body is moving. Now, children, these definitions we are going to learn with the help of examples. Now, in this first picture, I'll zoom for you, children. Here the girl is actually holding a notebook, okay, in her hand, and she has placed a piece of chalk, okay, on that notebook. Now, children, what is happening? She is moving a notebook with force, okay. So will that chalk will be stably on the, will it be stably placed on that notebook, or will it move, will it fall down? Can please write down in the chat box what will happen, children? Yes, okay, very good. Yes, the chalk will, yes, the chalk is going to fall from the notebook. Yes, it will not stay. No. Now, here in the second picture, you must have done this experiment in home, children, okay. Just here what the child is, the boy is actually holding a glass, okay, and in that glass half of water is filled. So he is actually trying to move the glass with water. So what is going to happen, children? Here the water will come out of the water will actually come out of the glass, okay. It will not stay, okay, it will not be placed inside the glass. Now, here in another picture, children, in the third picture, a girl is whirling the keyring. She's holding a keyring in her hand, and because of that, and what she is doing, she is whirling it, okay. She is whirling around her finger. Now, what is happening here? Now, what is going to happen, children? the here what will happen, the key will, it will move, it is going to rotate, right? So now see children, from these experiments, from all these three, what we saw that we have studied in all the above activities, the effect of the centrifugal force is visible. Yes, the centrifugal force, it is visible. What is happening? The actually falling down on the surface, the water is coming out from the glass, and here the key chain, the key ring is, it is actually rotating. So from this we understand that the centrifugal force acts in the direction opposite to the gravitational force. Yes, here what is happening, the gravitational force, it pulls the object towards itself, right? But this centrifugal force, what it does, it actually pushes the objects away from the center. Centrifugal means going away from the center. So children, here you must have observed that at local fairs, if you sit in a ferry wheels, your seat spins and leans outward from the wheel. Okay, this must have, you must have observed this thing happening. Okay, so all this all is an effect of an centrifugal force. Okay, so always remember that gravitational force will always attract the object or mass towards the center, whereas the centrifugal force will push the object or mass away from the center. So they both work opposite to each other. Now children, moving ahead, these are few basic examples which we have studied. Okay, we can you can do these experiments in home also in presence of your parents. Okay, so and try to understand the concept of centrifugal force. Now children, we are going to study the centrifugal force and gravitational force in detail with the motion of sun, earth and moon. Now uh, how they are again interlinked to each other, we are going to study. Centrifugal means it is a force which is actually, which acts, which pushes the objects away from the center. Okay, so now children, as we know that earth rotates around its own axis and it revolves around the sun. Okay, we are learning this since 5th standard, right? And even in second chapter we have studied in detail. So now children, the as we know that earth rotates around its own axis and it revolves around the sun, same here, even we have studied axial motion of the moon. So moon also rotates around itself and it revolves around the sun. But what happens also, it indirectly it also revolves around the sun. Okay, moon indirectly revolves around the sun also. Now children, here in this picture you can see that this is our earth. Okay, this is our earth. Okay, and we are observing it from the north pole. So these are what the centrifugal force is actually, it is actually pushing the objects away. Okay, it is acting away from the center, right? And whereas what is happening here, the gravitational force, it is denoted by G. Okay, here the gravitational force is actually attracting the objects. Okay, it is attracting the objects inside the, towards the center of the earth. Okay, so now here children, due to the rotation of the earth gets a type of power or force around it. Okay, so this force works away from the center, right? Because it is rotating around its own axis, it gains a power or a force. So this force works away from the center, which you can see in this first picture. Okay, which I have shown you. So this force is our centrifugal force. Due to this force, any object on the earth would be thrown into the space. Okay, so any object which is on the earth, it will be thrown into the space. Okay, but is it happening, children? Is it happening in the on the earth? No, it is not happening, because there is the gravitational force is also present, right? The gravitation is working towards the center of the earth at the same time. So because of this, what is happening, this force is many times, okay, happening, the objects, okay, they are centered towards the earth. Okay, so because objects are not thrown away, the objects are actually, they are not thrown away to the, so this force is many times greater than the centrifugal force. Children, this gravitational force is many times greater than the centrifugal force. So because of this, any object on the surface of the earth remains at the place where it exists. That is why even we humans, we are not flying. Okay, if this gravitational force was not existing, we would be thrown into the space because of the centripetal force. Okay, now children, here, moving ahead, we are going to see the factors which are responsible for the occurrence of tides. Now this sun, moon and earth, their positions and everything, they are responsible for the occurrence of tides. Now how are these factors responsible? What are these factors responsible? We are going to study. Gravitational force, or the gravitational pull of the moon. See children, we know very well, the moon is revolving around the earth, right? The moon is also revolving around the earth, and it has the gravitational pull around its, okay, so what is happening, the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun as well as that of the earth. Okay, so this is one factor which is responsible for the occurrence of tide. Second factor is revolution of the earth around the sun. Okay, when the earth revolves around the sun in its fixed orbit, and also the indirect revolution of the moon around the sun. Okay, this factor is also responsible for the occurrence of tides. Third one is centrifugal force generated due to the rotation of the earth. Okay, so this centrifugal force which is generated rotation of the earth. So these 3 points or these 3 factors are responsible for the occurrence of tides. I'll again repeat to you children, the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun as well as that of the earth. Okay, second one is revolution of the earth around the sun and indirect revolution of the moon around the sun. Third one is centrifugal force generated due to the rotation of the earth. So these 3 factors are responsible for the occurrence of tides. Children, I have told you centrifugal means the force which pushes the objects away from the center. Okay, it throws the objects away from the center. First point is children, the gravitational pull, the gravitational force which is present in the moon, okay, which is acting by the moon, the sun as well as that of the earth. Okay, second is revolution of the sun, of the earth and moon around the sun, and third is centrifugal force generated due to the rotation of the earth. Now moving ahead, how they occurs. Okay, occurrence of tides we are going to study. Children, this is the picture. Okay, I have zoomed for you. Even you can zoom on your screens also. Here what is happening, children? See, as we know, the moon is closer to the earth than the sun. Yes, because moon is our natural satellite, right? So it is closer to the sun. It is closer to the earth than the sun. So hence its gravitational force becomes more effective. Moon gravitational force is more effective than that of the sun. So whatever gravitational force of the moon which is pulling or which is attracting the earth's surface. Okay, it is more effective than that of the sun. So now children, here you can see that here on your screen you can see that here it is moon and this is our earth. Okay, this is our earth. Now what is happening, the gravitational force of the moon, okay, this is what this dark black arrow is the gravitational force of the moon. So what happens children, because of this gravitational force the high tide occurs. Okay, it is attracting, okay, it is pulling the sea water, it is pulling the water towards itself. Okay, so here because of that a high tide occurs. Okay, because of it a high tide occurs. Now children, here you can see on the opposite side over here we have learned that centrifugal force, it actually acts opposite to the gravitational force. So what is happening children, here what is happening, see, the here from the gravitational force of the moon is attracting from this side and here the centrifugal force is acting in the opposite direction. So because of this what is happening, here this region is also experiencing high tide because this region is also experiencing a force of attraction. It is experiencing a force around it. So because of that a high tide is occurring. Okay, now see, tides occur due to the relative positions of the moon, the sun and the earth. Now see children, a place on the earth located at the opposite point of the place experiencing high or low tide also experiences high or low tide respectively at the same time. See children, over here this point is place which is experiencing high tide, a place which is experiencing high tide on the earth. Okay, the opposite place is also experiencing the high tide. Okay, and in case of low tide what is happening, this region is actually experiencing, because here what is happening, there is a gravitation here, from one side there is gravitational forces acting and from one side there is centrifugal forces acting, and in between what is happening, because of this a low tide is experienced in this region. So children, here what happens is, whenever there is high tide at 0 degree meridian, the 180 degree meridian also experiences the high tide. See, we know that 0 degree meridian, opposite of 0 degree prime meridian, there lies 180 degree meridian. Okay, so what happens if the 0 degree meridian is experiencing high tide, 180 degree meridian is also going to experience high tide children. Now see, I'll show you from this picture. So let us just assume that this region is this is our 0 degree prime meridian. Okay, so the opposite place of this is going to experience, this will be the 180 degree meridian. So if this region is experiencing high tide, so the opposite region is also going to experience tide over there. Now children, moving ahead, the meridians that are at right angles to those having tide will experience low tide at the same time. Like I told you children, these meridians which are forming a 90 degree, they are forming a 90 degree. What they are going to experience? They are going to experience a low tide in this region. Okay, so now we'll move ahead. Moving ahead, types of tides. Okay, there are two types of tides. How are they classified? Okay, we are going to study. As the timing of the tide varies every day, the range of a tide also keeps on changing. See children, the time of the tide varies. We know that it is for for a specific period, and the time varies. Okay, it's not constant. So what is happening over here is, as the timing of the tide varies every day, the range of the tide also keeps on changing. Okay, sometimes it will be above average, the high tide will be above average, or it will be below average. Okay, so this can also occur. Now generally the highest high tide occurs on full moon day and new moon days. Okay, the highest tide, it is going to occur on full moon day and new moon days, whereas the days of the first and the third quarters. Now children, just imagine the phases of the moon which we have learned in second chapter. So on every new moon day and full moon day there will be a high tide experienced, and on quarter days, on third and on the first and third quarter days, there will be, the high tide will be at its minimum. Okay, the high tide will be at its minimum. Now children, the two types of tides are spring tides and neap tides. Now what are they? We will study. Okay, so now children, here, now what happens is, on a new moon day, on a new moon and a full moon day, the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon act in the same direction. Okay, the on new moon day and on full moon day, the gravitational pull of the sun and moon act in the same direction. See children, we have studied during new moon day and full moon day, the sun, moon and earth, they are on the same line and in the same path. So see here, you can see that they are in a straight line. Okay, they are in a straight line, children. So the gravitational pull of the sun and moon will act in the same direction. So due to this, the total pull increases on the earth. Okay, because there is the force, there is a gravitational pull of sun and also of the moon. So at that time, what will happen? The total pull will also increase. The earth will experience more pull, okay, towards it. So the tide on these days is much higher than the average high tide, like I told you. Okay, I have told you that sometimes the high tide will be above the average and it will be below the average. Okay, so during the new moon day and full moon day, when the total pull is increases, the tides on these days higher than the average high. So this is known as spring tide. Okay, children. So at this time, what we are doing, we are experiencing high tide. Now see children, with the help of this figure, I will show you. Now see, here what is happening, the sun, the gravitational pull is over here, right? And from the moon, right? So now what is happening is, see children, here, what happens is, because of the sun's and moon's gravitational pull on the earth, this region is going to experience more pull. Okay, this region is going to experience high tide. Okay, so what happens because of this? What happens because of this? Here, there will be, just a second, children. There will be much higher, these days the tide will be much higher than the average high tide. Okay, so now you can see here, this region is experiencing high tide. Like I told you, the opposite region is also going to experience high tide because of the centrifugal force which is applied over there. Now, children, what is happening over here is, here they are these regions are again forming right angle, right? So these regions are going to experience low tide. Children, okay, there are few children who are having doubt. I am going to explain the high tide and low tide to you again, and the second part continue later, okay, in the next chapter, in the next session, sorry. So just wait. Yes, so the tides we have studied about the factors. Now how they occur, children, I am going to repeat it. Okay, so now see children, here like I told you, there is this gravitational force of the moon. Okay, gravitational force of the moon. This region is experiencing, this region of earth is experiencing what? Gravitational force of the moon, as moon is here, over here. Okay, and this opposite, okay, the centrifugal force always acts opposite to the acts opposite in acts always it it always acts in the opposite direction of the gravitational force. So here you can see that this region is experiencing the centrifugal force, right children? Now what is happening here is, now here what happens is, see children, so because of this gravitational force and centrifugal force, this region is going to experience high tide. Okay, because there is a more pull, more gravitational pull and more centrifugal pull experienced by this region. So this region is going to experience high tide. Okay, and now what is happening here? Because of this, children, these regions, here you can see that here it is low tide written. Okay, why these regions are experiencing low tide? Because as here there is gravitational force is acting in this direction and centrifugal force is acting in this direction. So because of this region of earth is experiencing low tide. Okay, fall of water. Okay, and this region is going to experience rise of water. Okay, rise in water. Okay, high tide and low tide. Now children, I'll again show you that. See here what is happening is, if for example the 0 degree, if this region is 0 degree prime meridian, okay, the opposite of it is 180 degree prime meridian, right? So if 0 degree prime meridian is experiencing high tide, so the opposite 180 degree is also going to experience high tide. Okay, now children, here what is happening, that these regions here, they are actually, this region is actually forming a 90 degree. Okay, they are forming right angles. Okay, they are at right angles. So what is happening, this region is experiencing low tide. Okay, so these two regions are going to experience the low tide because they are forming right angles. Okay, so I hope children your doubts are clear now, the occurrence of tides. Okay, now children, I am going to explain the neap tide, okay, the other second type in the next session. Okay, so I will again revise the spring tide and leap tide in the next session.